Hi fans, thanks for clicking the Dreaded Heroes report. Back again, like a bad penny, alright? Anyway, former NFL player, don't know whether you've seen this or not, Ring of Honor wrestler Moose made his TNA Impact debut at the end of the other night's Destination X themed edition of Impact. During the X Division champion ship match with Eddie Edwards taking on Bobby Lashley, Mike Bennett interrupted and broke up a pin, but then was cornered by Edwards and his partner, Davey Richards, who had returned earlier in the night from an injury. He'd been out for quite a while. Moose then interrupted and laid out the Wolves and came face to face with Lashley, allowing Bennett to low blow Ashley from behind. Moose then laid out Lashley to end it. The interference from Moose and Bennett led Dixie Carter to make Edwards and versus Lashley in a rematch for next week's Six Sides of Steel. I really wasn't too impressed by Moose, and I don't know what all the blowing was he was doing. Man, boy, that was a little overboard, I think. And he didn't do that much to be that much out of breath. Anyway, regarding Moose's status with TNA, PWI Insider reports that he did sign a 2-year deal that's worth about 110, not money, 110 dates for the company. TNA kept Moose from the Impact Zone at Universal for most of the day. Didn't bring him in until that night before the filming. All right, Tommy Dreamer, he was backstage at the other night's SmackDown taping in Grand Rapids. And Dreamer could be one of the veterans that WWE is going to be bringing back for their brand extension. Been telling you about for a while. And noted earlier this week that a gym, G-Y-M, not G-I-M, on the new Pokemon Go mobile game is located at the WWE headquarters in Stanford. The game is the latest craze, everybody's having a fit. And, of course, Vince took to Twitter and joined in on the fun. He put a little Pokemon in there working out. Anyway, new WWE SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon will be starting a week early. It appears on Thursday's SmackDown. And I think they're going to, each one of them, the way I understand, Vince said, is going to have a general manager that's going to be on camera, on screen, and the other two is going to be behind the scenes, working. I hope they're actually working, are working against each other. It'd be kind of interesting. And Darren Young and his life coach, Bob Backlund, is going to be on Miz TV with the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, on Thursday's SmackDown. Young will debut a new theme song also. I hope it's not Backlund's old one. But WWE taped the following matches in Grand Rapids for this week's main event episode. Sheamus taking on Titus O'Neil. Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox with Natalya on commentary. Zack Swagger, Apollo Crews, Goldust, and R-Truth versus the Ascension and the Villains. And it was announced that it'll be on tonight at the SmackDown tapings that Dana Brooks and WWE Women's Champion Charlotte will take on Sasha Banks and a partner that Sasha must find by July 24th Battleground pay-per-view. Put her under the gun, huh? Hey, she may bring up somebody from NXT. So anyway, Battleground on the 24th, July 24th. Here's the way the card looks so far. Triple threat matches. Rollins taking on Reigns and Ambrose. Well, they're all taking on each other in the three-way, or triple threat. And WWE Intercontinental title match is going to be Darren Young with Bob Backlund, The Miz with Maurice. I would much rather have Maurice with me, but she's married and so am I. WWE U.S. title match is going to be Zack Ryder taking on Rusev with Lana. I changed my mind. I want Lana. John Cena, Enzo Amore, and Big Cass taking on AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and the Anderson, Carl. Sasha Banks and a mystery partner is going to be taking on Dana Brooks and the Women's Champion Charlotte. And Sami Zayn taking on Kevin Owens because they don't like each other. Becky Lynch taking on Natalya. And Wyatt Family versus New Day. Highlight reel with Chris Jericho and Randy Orton that night. By the way, since Becky Lynch has already got a match with Natalya, Sasha Banks would probably be bringing up her friend from NXT. Let's find out. Shane McMahon said on Twitter that he decided he's going to be his own general manager for the SmackDown brand and to be announced on next Monday's Raw. So I guess he don't want anybody fooling around with it but him. Now this is kind of interesting. See if you could catch all this now. Brock Lesnar is still under contract with UFC. According to MMAfighting.com, it's been reported that and stated by Dana White that Lesnar's future in the Octagon depends on Vince McMahon and WWE, as Lesnar is still under contract with WWE, but MMAfighting.com has confirmed via UFC officials that Lesnar is also still signed with the UFC. So we're going to have a fight in the ring between the... Anyway, Lesnar is still under a UFC deal. He will continue to be drug tested by the U.S. anti-doping agency as a part of UFC's anti-doping policy. Well, anyway, the USADA spokesman Ryan Madden confirmed that Lesnar will continue to be tested until he informs them that he is retired from UFC competition. I thought he did retire, but maybe just, I don't know. UFC rules stated that a fighter must inform the promotion 4 months in advance if he or she is coming out of retirement, so they could plan on getting them into the USADA testing pool. In a controversial move, though, the rule was waived by UFC for Lesnar's UFC 200 return, but he was tested 6 times in 4 weeks leading up to the event, but was not required to do so in the 4-month advance thing. Lesnar received an exemption because he didn't retire from USADA while they were overseeing UFC anti-doping policy, because a long time had passed since Lesnar left the promotion. Anyway, Lesnar is essentially treated as if he were a new athlete that just signed with the company. Sound like some things that Democrats do, ain't it? Kind of going around corners. But anyway, there's still no word yet on Lesnar's future in UFC. But there have been rumors this week that he is eyeing another fight later in the year or in 2017. Lesnar's return to the ring for August. WWE August 21st at SummerSlam is going to be against Randy Orton. TNA World Heavyweight Title Champion Bobby Lashley is now dual champion as he defeated NXT X Division champions Eddie Edwards at the Six Sides of Steel at last night's TNA Impact Wrestling tapings in Orlando. Anyway, the match will, I guess that was a spoiler, but oh well. But the match will air next week, July 21st, as TNA returns to Thursday night at 8 p.m. on Pop TV. Zeman Ion recently won the number 1 contender match to earn a shot at the X Division champion. And we'll see how Thursday night goes. I hope it goes good. That'd be nice. WWE Network cameras were recently at a Hall of Famers office at the Stratosphere headquarters in Toronto. Trish Stratus. Trish's website reported that she dished on women of WWE and other topics. Anyway, footage is going to be on one of the WWE Network shows. By the way, RYBACK's got a new line on a project coming out soon at feedmemore.com. All one word. Well, not the .com, but anyway, he posted some details. He says, I'm very excited about the feedmemore.com. Is almost here, working at Smoky Bones in Louisville, Kentucky in 2007, and a cook named Magellan always saw me eating on the job and would always shake his head, and it was like all the time. Finally, I just looked up at him after devouring a half a rack of ribs. How they could afford that guy. Anyway, the table ordered baby back, not St. Louis style ribs. He says, I screamed, feed me more. Right then and there, we both cracked up laughing, and I found the phrase that would sum me up as a man for the rest of my life. Now, get the wrestling. Nikki Glencross, who's that? That was the former Nikki Storms, will make her NXT TV debut August 17th on the episode. She teams up with Carmella and Liv Morgan to face Mandy Rose, Alexa Bliss, and Daria. Don't know any of them. I have to check it out. And we noted earlier that the cruiserweight competitor Kota Ibushi worked last night's NXT TV tapings in a match against Murphy. Anyway, Ibushi came out with the CWC graphics in his entrance, so it appears that the match is going to be airing on August 3rd. Fellow CWC competitor Sean Malata also worked last night's taping against Hideo Itami. Their match is going to be airing on August 10th, and this is Itami's first NXT match since returning from his shoulder injury. And good old Hall of Famer George the Animal Steele had been dealing with kidney problems, and on Twitter is noted that he's home after spending 105 days in the hospital. He says in the tweet, he says, "I broke down emotionally today." He says, "Jesus let me come home, return home after 105 days in the hospital." Good going, Animal. Now go bite something. Thanks for clicking, you guys. I gotta go.